Hola! Thank you for coming back to Revolución Latina on TonyLovers.com. This is Luis Salgado, and today I'm bringing you a great interview. This is the amazing Andrea Burns talking about motherhood and talking about art and how she started doing West Side Story and she fell in love with her Tony. What age did you actually start working in musical theater?
I was 18 years old. I had, of course, planned to go to college and conservatory program, school and everything, but I wanted to know, what it would be like to go to an audition in New York, because ever since I was a little girl, I had dreams of moving to New York and being, a Broadway performer. So I said, I'm in school, I'm not going to do it for real, but let me go to the audition and see what it's like. And so I went to the audition, and I haven't taken a lot of dance classes at the time, but I was so lucky because I went to a performing arts high school, and they had taught us the original choreography to America.
Okay.
So even though I never considered myself a great dancer, I was dancing a lot, and I was certainly good enough knowing the choreography to keep making the cuts and the thing. And then finally they asked me to sing, which I think made a lot of the other dancers nervous, and for me it was like, thank God. And I went, and at the time I was so young, and I had these big hoop earrings, and my lips red and trying to look all old and sophisticated, and I went and washed my face and put on my little dress, and I sang soprano for them, and I got cast as the Maria understudy in the European tour of West Side Story. I had an incredible experience when I was the understudy, because they usually don't rehearse understudies until opening happens. The woman playing Maria lost her voice in opening week, and I went on in the role of Maria with no rehearsal, but because I had always loved the movie, I knew that movie inside out, I was ready.
You love it because you felt identified with it? Or?
I did. Well, in every way. I felt like I identified with it as a Latin person. I identified with it as a lover of New York City. I identified with it as somebody who loved the musical theater art form, and to me, it's as good as it gets. When I finally went out to play the role of Maria, there was another guy playing Tony, but he was leaving in a few weeks. They hired a new guy, and it was the man who is now my husband, Peter Flynn, playing Tony. So we met that way too. So West Side Story has had so many gifts for me. But married my Tony, yes, it's very romantic, of course. But for me, I think because I had worked with a lot of wonderful actors who had played Tony before, I had so fallen in love with this person. I was so taken with that. And so I fell in love with him really more as a person, and then I was very lucky to be playing that part opposite of him on stage. Being with someone in the business has been a blessing, because I always say that if you are someone who has chosen to do this is your lover. This is the first love of your life. So if you choose someone to devote your life to, the fact that they also have that love, that mistress, whoever that is, that they can understand sometimes when they take a back seat, or when they don't. There's certainly times I have chosen my marriage over a certain job because it would take me too far away for too long. But a lot of the times when I say, Peter, I have this opportunity, he says, how can you pass it up? Because he is as passionate about the same things as I am. I think that I decided to get pregnant finally at a time where I had felt that I had hit all of the goals that I had set for myself at a very young age, being a teenager in Miami, going, I'm going to move to New York, I'm going to be on Broadway, and I want to work with such and such, and all these things. And I've been very blessed to have even done some of my dream roles and everything. And finally, we decided, to expand the family. I knew that I always wanted to do that, and I felt like I was ready, so we did. Yes, it does change everything, because first of all, the amount of love that you feel for this human being that you bring into the earth, someone that you take how I feel about what I do, and then you take meeting somebody who feels the same way about that too. So that's a whole other level of love. And then you have a human being that you brought on the earth that is made from that mutual love of life. The thing that has been the most thrilling is watching what Hudson's life is like here as a son of parents in the business in New York City. I think of all the years that I spent in my bedroom soñando, dreaming of this life, what it would be like to live here, and for Hudson it's just another day of his life. He's so lucky to, he hangs out backstage with me and knows a lot of the members of the cast of any show I do, and we always have this joke that Hudson hasn't learned yet that everybody in the world doesn't have a beautiful voice. His great mentor, Lin-Manuel Miranda, has inspired him to write a musical of his own. It is entitled Hit the Glasses. He said, Mama, I'm writing a show, and it's called Hit the Glasses. and Lynn's been incredibly generous enough to, sort of mentor that idea along. Lynn wrote a song for the both of them based on ideas that the two of them have talked about together. Lynn now actually wrote a song for the two of them to sing. Oh my God. Well, here's the thing. I always say, if they do something not so great, you go, oh, he gets that from me. And when they do something magnificent, you go, where did he get that from? It's such a humbling experience to have a child. And when you see a child, who is now starting to have their own dreams and opinions and connections with people, you just say, oh my God, where did this come from? This is from God. It's all the choices you make. I did continue to perform, but not as rigorously as like 8 shows a week. It was important for me to stay home, and also I found that I just didn't have the energy in the very beginning to be doing both at the same time. A lot of mothers will say this, that once they have a baby, all of the priorities change, and I've had a lot of friends who are in the business who said, I don't think I want to be in the business anymore. I want to focus more on being a mother, and I respect that very much. What I felt happened to me was, once I had a baby, I believe that every mother has an experience where they realize they know what they want and who they are and what they want their lives to be. And my answer was, I want to be doing this. Hudson has made clear to me that I need this, performing, which is my greatest love and my greatest outlet of expression. I need this to be a better mother to him. It's so exciting to see him see my joy at doing a show, or to get so excited about the same music that I'm getting as excited about at rehearsal. So I think for me personally, it makes me a better mom. By the way, if I didn't have the support of my incredible husband, who is also the other half of the equation, it would be much more difficult. You really have to look in your heart and ask yourself what is going to make you feel good about yourself, because whatever makes you feel good about yourself is going to make you a better mother. I think is that a mother should be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm happy with my choices. It's always going to be a balancing act, and I don't think it's ever perfect. It's always like this, and you try to keep the divide as small as you can. But it is a choice to definitely be balancing all the time. I think it's fantastic. Are you kidding?
Why?
I think it's wonderful. I love what it stands for, in the sense that it's celebrating the individuality of each one of those people. But especially coming from a Latin background, I think whenever you're part of any ethnic background, you tend to be stereotyped into one kind of a person, or people think they know where you're coming from, and what Revolución Latina is doing, which is so beautiful, is showing you so many different kinds of people that have so many different colors inside, that are just not the one kinds of note that you think of, oh, well, this is what a Latin performer is. We're all individuals, and it's celebrating the individuality of each one of those people.
But a show like In the Heights also is doing something like that.
Yes. I think a lot of people are surprised that they're not seeing one typical Latin American experience. You're seeing Latins who live in an uptown neighborhood of New York who are sharing also the same turf, but they're from, you have Puerto Ricanos and Dominicanos and different kinds of Latin backgrounds, and that they're not all one thing, and they do relate to each other in different ways. I think a lot of non-Latins are surprised to be seeing that for the first time. Just say, do what you love, do what feels good. That's it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Say bye-bye, Papa.
World starts getting me down.
So, thank you so much for watching today Revolución Latina at TonyLovers.com. Andrea Burns is a fantastic artist. I thank her so much for giving us the opportunity to do this interview, and we will see you next week when we interview the amazing Priscilla Lopez here at TonyLovers.com. And if you want to learn more about Revolución Latina, you can check us out at revolucionlatina.org. Thanks.